if the light that shines in you does not shine brighter than the light that shines on you, you're in trouble. If your character doesn't keep up with the capacity in which you can, like, you're in trouble. And I know that was true for me, and I can look back and say, thank you, Jesus, that you didn't give me some of the things that I even wanted, even though I wanted them selfishly. Thank you for protecting me. It was God's kindness over me that he didn't give it to me.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Refining Flame podcast, where we hear from Christian leaders who share stories of refinement through the work of the Holy Spirit in their life. I'm your host, as always, Ryan Shieh, and today we've got a very special guest, the one and only Mr. Wes Franklin.
Thanks for having me,
What's
brother.
going on?
Not much,
It's
bro.
good to see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you, too.
Yeah, thanks for being with us.
Yeah,
We're
thanks for
very
the
excited
invitation.
for the conversation.
Yeah, me too.
So before we start, you said you played baseball.
I did play
I
baseball.
got to ask you, because, I have some short history here. Not very long, but I did play. So what position did you play?
I played second base my whole life.
Cool.
Sometimes, injuries, things like that. I might have to play center field because I was fast and I could catch.
Okay.
So,
Could you swing a little bit?
you know what? I wasn't the best hitter, but somehow I managed to get on base often. So I had a good on-base
Scrappy.
percentage.
That's what they call
Scrappy.
Yeah.
I found out later in my life that I had I have a bit of a depth perception issue, and I didn't know it when I was a kid. And so, I didn't get a lot.
Did you wear glasses as a kid?
I did not.
Really?
No, this is
what age
later.
did you start wearing glasses?
Like 42.
What?
Yeah, less
so
than
you
10
played
years ago.
your whole growing up,
Yeah.
no glasses.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had glasses, what could have been?
What could have been,
You know
bro?
what I'm saying? You would have been over here.
Dude, who knows?
I actually noticed
doubt that.
they're Nike. I think that's dope.
Yeah, thanks.
I like those.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, before we get started, first want to say thank you for all that you're doing here on campus. So much stuff going on here with the students and bringing people in. I know Collegiate Day of Prayer is here this year. We're so excited about that. So I know, and you're leading a lot of that. So we appreciate and honor you for all the work that you're doing. But man, would love to hear your story. I don't know your story super well, to be honest. So I'm also intrigued to listen to what God has done, where you've been. I know you've been all over the world. And so kind of just take us into your world, what you've learned, what you've seen, where you've been, and some of the major highlights that you've experienced.
Yeah.
So floor is yours, man.
Yeah, it's been a journey, man. I tell people often that following Jesus is one of the greatest adventures in life. I've had a lot of. I felt like I've been an apprentice for most of my life because I've not followed some sort of path or anything in that regard. I've just tried to be obedient to where God was leading, and my family and I just sort of have a posture of whenever, wherever, and whatever, we want to be available and be obedient to that.
Where are you from?
I grew up in Tennessee.
Okay.
Originally.
Franklin, Tennessee?
Yeah, not far. Yeah.
I was kidding.
No one would know
Bad joke.
where I'm from. Yeah.
Did you grow up in a Christian household?
I did. Both of my parents were believers. I was so privileged to grow up in a home that loved Christ, prayed together, read the Bible together, served together. Many aspects of my discipleship as a young man came from primarily my father, but both my mom and my dad. My dad actually led me to the Lord. We had those old-timey revivals back in the day, bro, and it'd be 7 days long. And when you're, 10-year-old kid, you want to be outside riding your bicycle in the summertime or your dirt bike
We
or
have
something.
a funny term for that. It's Super Baptist.
Well, maybe we were Super Baptist. Yeah, but it was, midweek at some point, and I'd been listening to this guy preach all week, but something different was that night, and I knew it, and felt the Spirit of the Lord on me. And so when we got home that night, I told my dad what was going on, and so he grabbed his Bible, and we went back in the back room, and he led me to the Lord. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Praise
dad
God
still
for
alive?
that. He is, man.
Let's
he
go.
is, and he's doing well.
Awesome.
Yeah. He's doing
I love
well.
that. So tell me how you got, I'm assuming, did you get called to ministry at that moment, or was that something that kind of cultivated later on?
No, I didn't.
What did you want to do? Did you want to pro baseball, I assume?
Of course, every kid wants to play, pro sport. I knew I wasn't good enough to do that. Man, I grew up in a home. I grew up in a blue collar home. My mom stayed at home. My dad was a welder. I learned a really good work ethic at a young age, for which I'm really grateful for. I think nowadays I don't see it as much as I did when I was growing up, that parents are giving, particularly young men more responsibility, a little bit more than they can handle. I was given a lot of responsibility at an early age, cutting grass, weed eating. I'm talking about on a tractor mower, at 8 years old.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that you learn when you're being held responsible for certain things at a very young age. And so I just developed a deep love for using my hands, and I love to work hard, and I enjoyed, I know this is weird, but I enjoyed physical labor. And so, when I got old enough to, kind of have my own grass cutting business and hauled hay and bush hogged and things like that. And so just grew up in a very agricultural community and loved it. So when I got, older, that's what I did. When I joined the United States Air Force when I was about 19, and went into a civil engineering unit that did a lot of manual labor and enjoyed it. Got to learn to do a lot of incredible things and how to use my hands. And so that's what I was when I got out of the Air Force. I was a crane operator.
How long were you in the Air Force for?
Almost 9 years, not quite 9 years. Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it was a joy. It really was. People oftentimes ask me about my military service, and I just talked with ROTC folks the other day, and they were like, I'd love for you to share with us, what it's like to be a Christian and be in the military. And I said, man, I don't know that I am the best one that you could ask for that, because I didn't do well. I left home, the world was in front of me, and though I had great disciplines in my life in the faith, man, I ran after the world as hard as you could run for it and fell on my face often. I'm grateful for the grace of God. Even to be sitting here talking to you, I don't deserve this, bro. I don't deserve to be sitting here in any seat with any influence or any responsibility. But I'm grateful that God continues to extend his grace to me, and for that I am deeply grateful. So I worked out some really hard things during my military years. And that's why when after I got out of the service and I was operating cranes, I moved back to Tennessee, and I was working in Nashville, and I had a 2.5 hour drive to work every day. And so I'd get up at 3 a.m. and leave at 3:30 because I had to be sitting in my rig by 6 a.m. And so I would drive to work every morning, drink my coffee. I was listening to praise and worship. And, I had an encounter with the Lord that was outside of my salvation, just beyond anything I could have imagined. He very clearly placed a call on my life for ministry, and I was not happy about that, dude.
How old were you at the time?
I was probably 28.
Married by then?
Married with kids, yeah. Loved my job, loved what I was doing. Imagine a crazy man at 4 o'clock in the morning out on the highway beating the hood of his truck, yelling at God out in the field.
I got this call. Yeah. How was what'd your wife think?
Boy, that's a great question. Excuse me. I was like, spiritual warfare that day was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Because I could have kept my mouth shut and never said anything, and no one would have ever known. No one. Yeah. So all day, you're sitting in a rig, I'm in a crane by myself all day long. And I'm like working through this, talking to the Lord, and the enemy is just beating me up, telling me, you know who you were. Look at what you've done, right? Like, are you crazy? Like, you can't go do that. And you can't tell your wife, because your wife is not going to go for this. And so I spent 12 hours in my crane that day, and then a 2.5 hour drive home, contemplating all of this, and I just could not tell her. And so when I walked in the door, immediately I put my hard hat down in my lunchbox, and I said, hey, we need to talk. And it's amazing to me, as my wife and I recount this now, because I worked so much and was working away from home often. I wasn't able to be with her and the kids in worship service every Sunday. But God had been ministering to her heart leading up to that conversation. He had been nurturing her heart to hear what she was about to hear coming from me, though it surprised her, yes. And we sat there on the bed for about an hour recalling a lot of these things. And I mean, and a lot of tears shed right there. And just knew that the Lord was moving on our lives in ways that were unexpected. But, hey, man, we were willing participants, whatever it meant for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you got the call, you had the conversation, did you just get a call from Liberty the next day? How did you, where did it start, and how did you end up here ultimately?
Yeah.
Like, where did your ministry time begin?
We knew that call was an international call because the word I heard from the Lord was, go tell people about me who've never heard. So we started down a path. I grew up in a Southern Baptist home. That'd been what I'd known throughout my life. When I was a boy, we had these young boys and young girls had sort of missional education within Southern Baptist, and it was called Royal Ambassadors for Christ and Girls in Action. Great missional education. It was like, for the boys, it was like Boy Scouts met Jesus. It was awesome. It was like
Two worlds
outdoor
collide.
adventure, survival skills while you're learning the Word.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what young boys need, man. Like, they want to be out and be rough and running around.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's a great way to teach them. And so through that process, we ended up connecting with the mission organization inside the Southern Baptist and started down a pathway with them. And ultimately, moved overseas as a baseball coach.
Really? Oh my goodness.
So I cut my
Full
teeth in
circle.
sports ministry. Yeah.
Where'd you go first?
First, I went to North Africa.
North Africa.
Yeah, spent time in North Africa, and it was a great opportunity. I got to travel throughout the country a lot.
I gotta ask, how was the baseball over there?
Not good. I was working alongside a few other baseball coaches between the ages of 14, 15 years old and
Okay.
18, 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
A lot of baseball development.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So North Africa, and then where?
Yeah. After.
Because I know it's more than. It's a
Yeah.
long
So
story.
by this point, I'm 30. I'd never gone to college. And during that time of being there, I felt like, man, Lord, this seems to be, you've got more for me in this capacity, and I need to retool. Like I need to maybe do some studying. And so came back to the States for a short period of time, and I did my schoolwork.
Yeah.
So
Here or somewhere else?
No, I did it at another Christian university. Did my undergraduate degree and master's degree,
Yeah.
and then we went back overseas.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
went back. This time we went to the Middle East. Working among college-aged people on some universities in that area.
To go there, was that like the organization like said you should go there, or was that kind of just like we feel like God's telling us to go there?
That is a really great question. I hadn't pursued going there. I knew, because of my time, even though I was, doing baseball development, a lot of the people that I was friends with were around college age, young men that I spent time learning how to play soccer, because I never knew how to play soccer, but they taught me playing basketball together and things like that. And when you're in another country and you make friends, they want to show you their country, and they should. And so I spent a lot of time with these dudes and them showing me their country. And them being college age, I was just really, we just made a strong connection. And then, being 30 and living on a college campus, I really connected with a lot of the young men. And so I've just continued down that pathway, realizing maybe this is the affinity of people that, God is going to put in front of me that I should continue to work with. And so we had met. This is a very strange occurrence. in the early 80s, my father went on a mission trip to Africa and worked with a family there. Now fast forward, and I'm going through this process of going back overseas, and the family that my dad had gone to work with, his son was my age, and is now overseas and was looking to sort of try and recruit me to come over to
Team
work
up.
with him, and so we did.
Wow.
And that's
So
how
cool.
we ended up over there.
Cool. So how many years did you spend overseas in missions altogether?
5-ish, 5+, maybe
5?
6-ish. Yeah.
So overseas, and then, I mean, how in the world did you end up here? I can't believe you're here, man. This story is just like,
Yeah.
there's so many places.
Me too. Yeah.
How long have you been here?
10 years.
10
bro.
years.
June will be 10 years. 9.5 years.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, so who made the call?
Yeah, so I was, at this point, I've done mission work. My time in between when I was at university, I did student mobilization, helping to train and send students to go on mission. I was also a college pastor, volunteer college pastor at a local church, and helping in their missions department. I was also a full-time student and trying to be a good husband and a good dad. It was a fast 4 years, it felt like, for me. And then I was on pastoral staff when I came back from overseas and at a church. And so I had all these little areas of ministry, but I never was an expert in any one, right? Never been on pastoral staff in a church before. And so it was a Monday afternoon. I was doing some sermon prep stuff and got a call on my phone, and I didn't know the number. I don't normally pick my phone up when it's a number that I don't know. And I picked the phone up, and it was a guy that's known around here at Liberty named David Wheeler, who was on the other end of the call.
Never met him.
I've
never heard of David Wheeler.
Yeah, he's an evangelism professor here.
He's my boss. I hope he hears
he
that.
called me, and I'd never spoken to him before, and knew a little bit about Liberty from my time overseas with some students that had come over and worked with some other friends and some projects and things of that nature, but wasn't pursuing this at all. And during that time, there was a lot of reorganization here at the university around what is now the Office of Spiritual Development. And they were developing a department called LU Shepherd. And he'd reached out to me, and I told him no straight off.
Did you really? Wow.
Yeah.
You just didn't feel like it was.
I remember hanging up the phone. I remember just before I hung up the phone, I said to him, "I appreciate the call, brother. You keep making disciples where you are, and I'll do the same." And I think I should probably tell part of that story as well. It may seem a little strange for our listeners, but I don't know if this is known or not, but in North Africa and the Middle East, God uses dreams in those people's lives a lot. And that had never happened to me until I moved overseas. And at this point in my life, I've had 5 significant dreams that the Lord has used in various ways. In August of 2015, I had another one. And I knew it was from the Lord immediately. So I got up and wrote it down. The next day I went and talked to who is now my really strong friends in the Lord and a spiritual mentor to me, and an older man, and told him. And I'd never had anybody to sort of help mentor me through this process, because it wasn't like you talked about dreams in Sunday school unless it was about Joseph, right?
Sure. Yep.
So it was odd for me. And so he helped me through that process. The Lord helped me understand the dream, but I had no context for it whatsoever. So that's the precursor. When I hung that phone up, talking with Dr. Wheeler, that dream flooded my mind. and I
The
asked.
dream was before the call? Or?
The dream was before the call. It was in August, and he calls me in December. And when I hung up the phone, that dream flooded my mind, and I asked the Lord, sitting right there, is that dream connected to this phone call? And the Lord was like, yeah. And so I didn't know what else to do. Ryan had no idea. That's probably bad theology, but I fleeced out the Lord, man. Like, I didn't know what else to do. And I said, Lord, if this is of you and it's connected to that dream, I'm going to ask you that same man from that same university call me back at a later date, but offer me a completely different job. And he did.
Wow.
Yeah, call me back in February. No way I could deny that the Lord was in it at that point. That's how I got
Crazy
connected.
story, man.
I know.
I didn't know that.
I know.
I'm going to have to go ask Doc about that. He's never told me that.
Well, he called me back the second time, and he said, hey, are you praying about this? And I was like, no.
That's such a Doc thing to say.
Yeah, I said, no, I'm not. Like, I told you no. And he goes, you need to be praying about this. Every night when I go to bed and every morning when I get up, the Lord has you on my mind. You need to be praying about this. And I just...
He's like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've seen it. Yep.
Yeah.
That's so funny, man. And you've been there ever since. Crushing it.
Came here in June of 2016.
16.
Yeah, I've been humbled to be here, to be honest.
Crazy,
with you.
man.
Yeah.
Crazy. Well, let me push this at you, because I know that, especially my generation, there's a lot of people who have this desire to be used by God, to use the language, right? And a lot of people think that in order to do that, or in order to reach a platform or a position or a place of power, like, they have to promote themselves to a place, right? Whether it's like social media, or I'm doing this or I'm doing that. Everyone has a podcast nowadays, which is funny because, like, we have one too. So,
Yeah.
But, it's like everyone's trying to, produce this thing in order for God to use them, right? And I listened to your story, Wes, and you've never, and listening to you now, I mean, you have a humble spirit to you. Like, you've never at any point pursued reaching a place, of like, I finally made it. I'm at liberty and I have this job, which a lot of people would look at you and be like, I want that.
Yeah.
But you're sitting here telling us that, like, that's not something that I pursued. Like, God called me to it and I was completely faithful to it. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this, because, I mean, what do you do when you have this desire to serve, which it seemed like you did at some point, but at the same time, you're not chasing a title or a name tag or, something that has director on it. You're just being completely faithful to what God has called you to do.
Yeah. Trying to be.
Yeah.
I wake up every morning with a prayer on my heart. Lord, please don't let me mess this up. I think the scripture's true, that if you can be responsible with a little, God will eventually trust you with much. And it's a scary place to be. I can't say that, there were times in my spiritual journey where, especially when I was going through education, I would listen to someone preach and think, man, I could preach that better than he could, How stupid of me. Like, that's ignorant. Man, God should have me up on that stage, right? Like, that was just, that's just, it's ignorant.
Yeah. I do it.
Yeah, well,
I do
here's
it.
the thing.
We think we all do it.
Like, I finally come to this place to where, like, if the light that shines in you does not shine brighter than the light that shines on you, you're in trouble.
It's good.
Yeah, if your character doesn't keep up with the capacity in which you can, like, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And I know that was true for me, and I can look back and say, thank you, Jesus, that you didn't give me some of the things that I even wanted, even though I wanted them selfishly. Thank you for protecting me. It was God's kindness over me that he didn't give it to me. And far too often, I think young adults look at people in positions of authority or influence, especially, now with social media and those things, and they want that. But you know what they don't want? They don't want what that person had to go through to get to that place. And that's what they can't see. They can only see them either standing on the stage or hosting a podcast or whatever that might be, and have no idea what God took them through in their life. It's like going into a dark room, right? When you used to when you used to have to develop film. Before you see this beautiful picture, it had to go through a dark room. And sometimes you have to walk through some experiences in your life that take you through some really hard times. And that's fine too.
Yeah.
It's all part of the sanctification process. And though I know God was not happy with my sin, and I know he wouldn't condone it, he redeemed in my life something that was intended, as he said to, as Joseph said, what is intended for evil, God used as good, and I feel that in my own life. And no, I've never pursued. I've always just took the posture, Lord, if you think I can handle it and it's what you want me to be doing, I'll go do it. And I don't, even now, like honestly, like I don't feel like whatever it is that other people see me from the outside as, I don't feel like that. Like I just want to be me, and I want to be me in every room that I go into. I don't want to be anything other than that.
Yeah.
And that's just a good follower of Christ, a good husband, and a good dad to my children, and now to my granddaughter. I'm a grandfather
Come
now,
on.
so yeah.
Exciting.
Because in the end, though the things that God has given me to do, I hope that what I've put my hands to have honored and glorified him. The very first thing he ever gave me to steward on this earth was my wife. And I want to do that really well. And then he gave me children. And I care much about family. If you get these things out of order, which I've seen a lot of men and women do throughout my time in ministry, man, it can just be detrimental.
Yeah, everyone gets hurt.
Everyone gets hurt.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you know AJ Pillay?
I don't know.
At Thomas Road. He's like the men's guy at Thomas Road.
Okay.
That I'm actually trying to get to join. Shout out if he's listening. But I was talking with him this morning, and he calls it the blessing of obscurity. And he was just saying how Paul's time in Saudi Arabia 2 years before he really started going off. He's like, no one knows anything about that time in his life.
Yeah.
But like was seriously being pruned and sharpened and formed to then do what God had called him to do. But no one wants to talk about those 2 years of isolation.
Yeah.
And I'll even say, full confession. So I told you I played 2 years of baseball here. And the summer after I finished, by the grace of God, really started like doing some stuff in the ministry. And all my friends from baseball were still playing baseball. So like they would go to the field. I would stay home, either like working on something or travel or whatever it may be. And man, just like went 2 years of just isolation, kind of just thrown out into the desert, to use the metaphor. But I think you're right. A lot of people look at the mountaintop place and say, I want that. But then they don't understand the road it took to get there, obviously. And then when they don't have it, they question God.
That's right.
Instead of questioning what they may have or may need in their heart or character, they think, maybe God's not that good. He doesn't think I can handle it. It's like, maybe you can. That's what I've kind of learned the last couple of years. Like everything that I've wanted or desired, a lot of it is, like you said, it's protection from what you actually can't see about yourself. Like that platform will destroy you.
It's the kindness of the Lord.
It's crazy.
Several years ago, Dr. Robert Clinton Jr. from Fuller Seminary wrote a book called The Making of a Leader. And I read that book, and I've read it several times since. And it's so good because he takes several people that we see throughout the Bible, and it sort of holds their journey up to these phases. It's a leadership development theory book. But I believe he's onto something with this theory because he talks about an isolation phase. Think of Moses, for example.
I think all the patriarchs are like, they had to go through.
He's herding sheep for 40 years.
Yep.
I guess it was sheep. I don't know. Who knows?
Something.
Yeah. But there's a process that the Lord was taking these people through before he entrusted them with anything more, Yeah, I certainly feel that way in my own life.
Yeah. Just bring up AJ again. He says, like, you got to smell like sheep, man, if you want to be a shepherd.
That's exactly right. I think I'd like AJ.
You would. I should connect you guys.
Yeah.
But so many people want the responsibilities without actually digging through the mud a couple of years. And it's hard, man. I've been there myself. I'll tell you that. I just got back from Argentina and Brazil on a mission trip, which is awesome. So cool. And one of the biggest things that I saw was how those people there could care less about what everyone else thought about them. You know, like here in America, we have this perception management and like, I want to appear a certain way, have all my cards together. And they're like, look, I could care less. I'm taking care of my family, myself, and ultimately I'm taking care of you. Like I'm here to serve. And I went with this prisons ministry called Prison Alliance, and they like distribute curriculum all over the world into prisons. And then you'll have local pastors go in and like share every week. And we were in this one prison, and the local volunteers there was a man and a woman. And they would go in week after week after week after week for years. They're not on staff at a church. They're not getting paid, but they just love these prisoners. And I was talking with the husband afterwards on one of the trips, and he was just like, yeah, we have a 1-year-old. We have a 3-year-old. Our 1-year-old has this skin disease. Can't figure it out. Our 3-year-old has seizures all the time. Medical bills are off the charts. Like, we don't know how we're going to make it next month. And I'm like, well, what are you guys going to do? And he's like, we're just going to keep going to those prisons and believing. You know, day in and day out. Man. And I was telling, I think it was John last week, just there's something about faithfulness and doing what you feel like you're supposed to do, regardless of if you get anything in return or if it gets posted on social media or if you get compensated for it, and you just do it, you know, just
That's
because
right.
God's called you to do it.
That's right.
And a lot of us would look at what God's calling us to do, and we say, unless I get the promotion or the strings attached, I'm not going to go.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's a challenge, man.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I think that's oftentimes, I mean, what I've seen, you know, as men and women who pursue ministry is it's almost as if there's this career path that you have to take.
Yeah. Like you make it.
Yeah.
There's like a stage, there's levels to it.
Yeah, bro. Look, if the Lord called me to pastor some little country church of 30 people, I'd go do that because that's what the Lord has for me. Like the place that I want to be is in His will. That's where I want to be. People used to say to me, "Oh, did you feel unsafe when you were like overseas?" I was like, "No."
Yeah.
Like I could be right here at Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia, and be outside the will of God and feel more unsafe than being in God's will somewhere overseas. No way.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember a couple of years ago, this is full confession, man. When I like first started getting into the, you know, podcasting or whatever it would be, and someone asked me, they were like, what would you do if God called you to a small church? And this was probably 2.5 years ago. And I was like, this is so embarrassing. I was like, I don't know if I'm called to a small church. And I'm sitting here right now just thinking like, what in the world? Like what? That's what we do is we think the outcome, what we want in the end is only okay with God if it's what we plan. Like if it's like for the glory of God, it has to happen. Yeah. And like a lot of times God calls you to something and it's completely opposite of what you had thought or wanted. Yep. But then it turns out, I mean, look back, it's like, that's exactly what I needed, you know?
Yeah, we ask God to join our plans rather than God, how can I join you where you're at work?
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard, man. And I think, you know, I was talking with someone the other day, it's like the natural desire, and it could be a good desire. Like I want to serve God. Sure. And I want to impact people and I want to bring, you know, kingdom on earth and I want to do this good thing. But a lot of times we just get camouflaged with the quantity number, you know? And I think at the end of the day, like quality is like, that's the definition of faithfulness is like how well, not how much, right? But how well are you stewarding what you have? Yeah. I think a lot of people, they get to heaven. It's like, you think of all these, like, think about like the famous pastors today, quote unquote, celebrity pastors. And you think you'll get to heaven. It's like, there's this just long line of like all these people that they've touched. And it's like, oh my gosh, he's millions and millions. And like, I've only impacted 3 or 4. And I think we misunderstand like what faithfulness actually means. Cause it's not the length and how much, right? It's like, how well are you stewarding what God's given you? Yeah. And I think we focus on that, man. We can change the world in so many different places, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think if we follow Jesus's method in the New Testament, man, we could reach the world in just a few short years. Yeah, but absolutely, it takes us sharing the gospel and making disciples to make disciples.
Yeah, without expecting anything in return.
Without expecting anything in return,
nothing
or
in return.
any platform. Just go do it.
Yeah,
like who cares?
Yeah, I love that, man. Yeah. There's another pastor down there. We were walking through this prison corridor, and there's 4 or 5 prisoners in each door, and we're just walking through, and I mean there's probably 60 prisoners in there, completely outnumbered. And he like looks to the side and he points to this one long hallway, and he's like, 12 years ago, that's where I met Jesus. Wow. In that hallway right there. Wow. And so think about this, man. And this is crazy because we'd be like,
as a prisoner?
As a prisoner.
Oh my
And so he's like, I was in prison, met Jesus, and I've been coming in here for 15 years now, sharing the gospel with these prisoners because I've experienced hope and they can too.
Praise the Lord for that,
It's
man.
crazy, man. And that encourages me so much.
Yeah.
But I just know, and I've been here, it's like a lot of us would say, like, I'm not going back there.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to do that. Like, how do you know? How
Yeah.
do you know where you're
Yeah.
supposed to go or not supposed to go?
Yeah.
You know?
That's right.
But that's encouraging, man.
Mm-hmm.
I get, as we close, what's the last word, Wes, for our generation on faithfulness, stewarding what you have, and being obedient regardless of the outcome? I think that's kind of the main hit, is like your obedience is not determined by the outcome. You know, just do what you're called to do.
Yeah. And, you know, isn't it just the beauty of the Lord? He says that we'll bear fruit, that he allows us to bear fruit. We don't produce the fruit.
Mm-hmm.
He produces the fruit. We just get to bear it. And I think that's just a beautiful picture, because I think far too often, as I've seen throughout the years, people try to be the ones to produce the fruit, and we just get to bear it. And if we'll just be faithful with what God has given us today, and let him worry about tomorrow and me not worry about tomorrow, I think we'd be in a better position to serve faithfully and be obedient followers of Christ.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love it. Thanks for being with us, Wes.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan.
We appreciate
I've enjoyed
you, and again, all that you're doing. One more thing, actually. What's the, to give you a little hint, Collegiate Day of Prayer coming? What you got on that?
Yeah, February
Exciting.
26th.
Super exciting.
Very excited. I think we're going to make a whole week of it. That's going to be on Thursday, February 26th. I'm really excited to see what the Lord's going to do. I'm grateful for the leadership of the university to say yes, to allow us to host them. We've been striving really hard. This is sort of a new area for me in pressing into shifting the culture of prayer on our campus. I'm really, really, really grateful for the fertile soil that's here, of the many years of the saints who have prayed, particularly our founding president. And I think as we move forward on this earth and the things that we're seeing, if we don't have the foundation of being men and women of prayer, I think we're going to find ourselves, being outside of that discipline in a way that, if we will just lean into it, will guide our paths for the future. Yeah. As an institution, as personally.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Wes.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate
you. We love you. We love you
you
guys.
guys too.
We'll see y'all next week.